Welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at these two expansion packs, Everdell Legends and Everdell Extra Extra. So if you bought the retail version, then you did not get these. These only come in the collector's edition of the core game of Everdell. And there's also two other packs that you can also get. One is Rugwort, and then another one is just a bunch of wooden occupied tokens, and that's it. So they separated it into 4 packs, so you can buy them singly, or you can even buy them together too, in a bigger pack, I believe, as well. But I didn't really want the wooden tokens, and I don't really have to have Rugwort right now either. But I definitely, once I saw the cards in Legends and Extra Extra, I definitely wanted to get these cards. These are just awesome cards. So, obviously, that's really cool that if you get the core game of Everdell, that if you don't get the collector's edition, or just simply can't find the collector's edition, then you can at least get these expansion packs to get the stuff you missed out on. So that's what I really like. They didn't do that for all the expansions, though. So you should definitely try to get the collector's editions of both Spirecrest and Probrook, rather than simply just getting the retail version of Probrook and the retail version of Spirecrest. You should probably get the collector's editions for those games, because for sure there isn't any expansion packs for Spirecrest, for sure. So if you do get the retail version of Spirecrest Mountains, then you will not get all the extra stuff. So something to note if you haven't bought the expansions yet for Everdell. Which I have, though, of course. So I got all the expansions before I even got these cards. Now, these cards, from what I understand, you're not supposed to play with these cards if you're also playing with Spirecrest. So that's kind of interesting. But these are really powerful cards, so I can understand why. So let's open these up and see what we have. Let's do this one first. Extra Extra. So that's the first one. Now let's go ahead and open this one next. And that's that one. So that's what we get. Cool, cool. Now let's go ahead and open up these. There are those. And then these. And then those. So let's take a look at these cards close up. You got to also get these little tiny, obviously, instructions of how you play with these cards, what cards they are, all the abilities they can do, and the setup as well, the extra setup you may do, because these require a special setup, both of them. And then obviously, same with these. So, everything you need to know. So, cool. We'll definitely hold on to those. Alright. So these are the Legends cards. So this one is, let's actually zoom in on the cards, get a better look at them. So here we have a Finn Nobletail, a legendary critter. He replaces the king, so if you have a king, I believe that's how it works, you can actually replace the king with him. And it says that Legends expansion, legendary cards represent noteworthy critters and constructions in the world of Everdell. These powerful cards add variability and complexity to the game. Therefore, it is recommended that you do not use them until you are familiar with the base game, and then only when you feel like a twist on a regular game. So, that's kind of interesting. So I'm pretty sure you can replace the king if you have a king with him, or if you were to place the king in your town, but you didn't have the king, but you had Finn Nobletail instead. I believe that's how that would work. But we won't discuss too much on the setup and how you get to actually use these cards. Let's just talk about, obviously, the cool part of the cards, the abilities that they do, the points they give you, the cost as well, obviously. So Finn Nobletail here, for 7 berries, it's going to cost you 7 berries to put him in your town. And he's worth 5 points at the end of the game. And then you get 2 points for each basic event you achieved, and 3 extra points for each special event you achieved. So that's really cool. So if you could at least do 1 of each, you could easily get this guy to be worth 10 points at the end of the game. That is awesome. Alright, here we have Cirrus, Windfall. And it looks like he's going to be replacing the Postal Pigeon. He's a tan traveler. Oh yeah, so obviously Finn Nobletail is a purple prosperity. So Cirrus Windfall is a tan traveler. He's worth 4 points at the end of the game. And then you may play 1 card worth up to 3 money, or should I say 3 points for free. So when you put him into your town, this card, you can play 1 card worth up to 3 points for free in your town. So that's really cool, but it's a one-time use, and you have to do it when you put him in your town. So you better make sure you have at least 1 card you want to put in your town available before you do that. Otherwise, you will miss your chance if that's something you actually want to do. Still, that's pretty cool. Okay, so here is Poe, a green production card. This one replaces the teacher. So this one you could use, an ability you could use throughout the game. You know, during preparing for spring, obviously, preparing for autumn, and then when it's played, obviously. He's worth 4 points at the end of the game. And then you discard any number of cards, and then draw up to your hand limit. So that's pretty cool. If you don't like the cards that are sitting in your hand, you can use his ability then when you have that, when you play him, obviously. And when you prepare for spring and autumn, obviously. And discard the cards you obviously don't like, because you can discard any number. And then draw up to your hand limit. So that's really cool. This is a good way of getting good cards that you don't have, that you want. And then it takes 4 berries to play him in your town. Same thing for Cirrus Windfall. It takes 4 berries to play him in your town. Alright, so this is Foresight, and he replaces the Historian. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that, because I love bats, and so I thought I really like the bat being the Historian, and obviously, he doesn't, well, he is a bat. He is definitely a bat, so that's something at least. You can see the wings he's got. It doesn't seem like he's a bat because he's standing on 2 feet, and he's obviously not upside down, but maybe he is upside down. He just shows him upside, whatever. But the point is, I still want to see the bats upside down rather than right side up. But anyways, he's still a bat at least, so that works. So this is a blue governance card. It's going to cost 4 berries to play him in your town. And obviously, I guess you could either have him or the historian, or replace the historian with him, if I remember correctly. That's how it works. And he's worth 4 points at the end of the game. And then draw 2 cards after you play a critter. Gain 1 resource of your choice after you play a construction. So this is a really cool ability. When you play a critter and you have him in your town, you can draw 2 cards after you play a critter. Oh, that's awesome. Then, if you are playing a construction, you gain 1 resource of your choice. So if you're playing a construction and you have him in your town, even better, right? That's awesome. Now, that makes more sense. Sometimes I wouldn't bother playing the historian if I hadn't played the clock tower first. But this will definitely make it seem more worth it to play him, even if I don't have the clock tower in town, because that is an awesome ability. I would not want to pass up on that. And that's better than the historian's ability as well. Maybe we'll do a video comparing these cards to the cards that they technically replace when you're playing with this expansion, or this variant, if you will. Alright, so here we have Amelia Glissendew. She replaces the Queen. It costs 6 berries to play her in your town, and it's a red destination card, just like the Queen was, and it's worth 5 points at the end of the game. And then obviously this is a red destination for yours truly, or the player who actually played the card, not some other player. So when you place a critter here, you can achieve an event even if you don't meet the listed requirements. Oh, that is awesome. That is, oh, wow. If you had this, you could virtually get almost every event there is. That's cool. Assuming nobody else got the other events. That is cool. If you get her in the beginning of the game, oh, wow, you could easily get every single one. Although it's not likely you'll get her played in winter. But if you can get her played in the spring, you could easily achieve 3 of these, probably. Because you could do one each year. You could do one in spring, you could do one in summer, you could do one in autumn. And you could maybe get the other one by actually having the requirements. That would blow everybody else out of the water for sure, if you were able to get most of the events. Especially if you were playing like 3 or 4 players. Whew, wow, powerful. For sure. So, the next one is a construction card. So we've had a total of 5 critters, and it looks like that's how many there is, 5 critters. And it looks like the rest are construction cards that replace, well, construction cards. So, this one's going to cost you 2 pebbles. It's a Bridge of the Sky. It's a blue governess card, and if you look at this, I do not know what this means, so we'll have to read what it says, because I've never seen that. Usually it's a 0 or some number or a minus point, but it's none of that. So, looks like, let's read it. May not be used with any other card playing ability. So this is a blue governance card you can't use with other blue governance cards. You may, at the same time, I mean, you may play one construction, so one construction card, for -3 resources of your choice, and then place it on top of this card. Well, that's interesting. That actually saves you a slot, because you can play this, and then you may play the one construction you're playing, and you can put it on top of this. But this is like a one-time thing then, because obviously you won't be able to do this ability again in the game, because it will be covered by the one construction card that you put on this card. Still, that saves some space in your town for sure, and it's a whole lot cheaper doing it this way. But then, this little star-looking thing is equal to the point value of the construction on top of this card. So it's equal. So that's really cool. So it's basically going to be the same amount of points with whatever construction cards you happen to put on Bridge of the Sky. That is really cool. And this one replaces the crane. So this is like 10 times better than the crane was, obviously. And if you have this in your town, instead of the crane, you can play the architect for free. So, even better. Alright, so here we have mcgregors Market. This one's going to be 2 twigs, 2 resin, and a stone to pay for. It's a green production card. It's going to be worth 4 points at the end of the game. And when you get to activate it, you gain 2 resources of your choice. And it replaces the farm, which is, oh, wow, awesome. I love that. Better than the farm, most definitely. And then, obviously, you can play either the husband or the wife for free in your town if you have McGregors Market. So that's really cool. If I remember correctly, mcgregors Market was definitely one of the locations mentioned in the Belfair lore. So that's really cool. So here we have Oleander's Opera House. This is another Purple Prosperity card. It's going to cost you 3 twigs, 2 resin, and 2 pebbles to pay for it. It's worth 4 points at the end of the game. And it will give you 2 additional points for each unique critter in your city. And this also replaces the theater. And if you have Oleander's Opera House, you can play the Bard for free in your town. Alright, so this is going to cost you 1 pebble. It's a Silver Scale Sprain, and it's a Tan Traveler card. And it's worth 2 points at the end of the game. You play this card under a construction in your city. Huh. You gain that construction's cost in resources and draw 2 cards. So that's really interesting. So obviously you're going to put this under your construction card, a construction card that's already in your city. And then you gain that construction's cost of resources. So whatever that construction card costed, like for instance, I don't know, if it was something like this, not that it would be, but if it was something like this, you would gain all of these resources. So if it was something really powerful, like maybe the Evertree or something that had a huge cost of resources, you'd get them back by having this, and then you also get to draw 2 cards too. That's awesome. And it replaces the ruins in your town, so it's even better than ruins. And you can still play the peddler for free in your town if you have this. Although, if it's under your city, I'm not sure if you could play the peddler in your town or not. Oh well. We'll have to see if that still works or not later on. But that's really cool. We still have 1 more, so let's do it for these. So here we have 3 twigs and 3 resin for this one. It's going to cost. It's a red destination, and if you'll look closely, it has an open sign on it, and it's hard to see from here, but if you look even closer at the card, it has a 2 cost on the open sign. So that means if an opponent's critter decides to go here, you're going to get 2 extra point tokens. So that's really cool. Not 1, 2. So that's even better. So it's worth 4 points at the end of the game. But when you put a critter here, you can play a critter or a construction for 4 resources fewer. So that's really powerful. It replaces the inn, and it looks like you can play the innkeeper for free in your town if you have the green acorn. So that's really cool, and I like that. The artwork, it looks like the inn actually looks like an acorn. That's really, really cool. It might even be an acorn. It probably is. It probably is like a giant acorn. Who knows? But it's still really cool. For sure. Okay, so we're going to take a look at these cards in the next video.